Om Shri Sai Ram, Upanishad Vahini by Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba, Chapter 7, Prashna Upanishad. The Prashna Upanishad is part of the Atharvana Veda. It is named so because it is articulated in the form of questions or prashna and answers. By this means, it discusses more elaborately some topics dealt with briefly in the Mundaka Upanishad. It has thus become a commentary on the Mundaka Upanishad. For example, the Mundaka says that Vidya, manifest form of knowledge, is of two types: para or self-knowledge, that is supreme knowledge, and apara or worldly knowledge or anything other than self-knowledge, and that apara vidya is of two kinds: karma, action or duty, and upasana, worship or contemplation on one's own favorite deity. Of these, the second and third prashnas in this Upanishad deal with upasana. Since the discipline of karma is fully covered in the Karma Kanda, a portion of the Veda that deals with karma, it is not elaborated here. When both karma and upasana are practiced, regardless of the fruits thereof, they promote viragya, that is, renunciation and non-attachment. This subject was elaborated in the first prashna. So, if the Prashna Upanishad is studied after the Mundaka, the subject would become clearer. Of the two entities, Parabrahma, or the ultimate and absolute existence, and Aparabrahma, or anything other than Parabrahma, the Aparabrahma is incapable of conferring the Purusharthas, or the goals of life, which are of lasting value. Realizing this and eager to attain the eternal Parabrahma, the aspirants approached the competent teacher, Pipalada, the word Anveshanama, in search of seeking, used here to signify the attitude of the disciples, shows that those attached to the Apara Brahma fail to identify their own basic truth as the Atma. That is why they still seek it somewhere outside the truth of their being. The eternal and non-dual Parabrahma principle can be known only through the discipline of the Shastras, sacred text of knowledge for realizing one's true nature, directly, personally, by a guru or teacher. When the year was over, Katyayana asked Pipalada thus, on account of what reason are beings born? Those who wish for progeny are the Prajakamas. The wish is basically to procreate oneself as their progeny, to perpetuate oneself. Hiranyagarbha, who is non-separate from Paramatma, is the Prajapati, or the Lord of the creation. In this Kalpa, or the cycle of time, Hiranyagarbha as Prajapati wishes for progeny. He has rich credits of practice of Apara Vidya, learning related to the non-self, and karma attached to him from past origins that induced knowledge itself motivates him the wish for progeny as his endeavor. Surya, or sun, with his rays illumines all beings in all the 10 directions. Surya is the Swatma Bhava, or the very self or own being or own becoming of Prajapati, and hence all beings in the regions so illumined by Surya too become the Swatma Bhava of Prajapati. The word Prana therefore refers to Aditya or sun itself, For Aditya gives prana the vital essence, since all beings are able to live by the consumption of food, the digestive fire in the stomach representing the sun. The sun is also known as Vaishvanara. The whole universe is of his nature, and so he is also known as Vishwarupa. Samvatsara, or the year, is an indicator of time according to the position of the sun. Time is but a series of days and nights, and these are phases caused by the movements of the sun. The revolution of the moon causes tithis or stages in the fullness of the moon. The twin forces, the sun and the moon, are the products of Prajapati, and so time, which is marked out by Ayanam, or the sun's course north or south from one tropic to the other. Samvatsarams or years, etc., is also of the same essence. Prajapati has the northern and southern cycles of movement also. The contemplation and worship of Prajapati in this universal aspect is referred to as Jnana itself. He who is endowed with this Jnana and who has mastery over the senses as well as faith in the Vedas can easily convince himself that he is the very Atma. Pursuing the Uttara Marga, or the northern path, he reaches the Surya Lokam. That Loka is the refuge of all living beings. Even those who attain fulfillment through the combined paths of Upasana and Nishkama Karma, or the selfless action or actions without expecting any returns, to enter the same Loka. The seasons like Vasanta or spring are the feet of the sun, the symbol of time. The 12 months are his 12 different forms. Dvadasaditya. He is the cause of the worlds. These are expressed in the 4th and 6th mantras. The rains too are caused by the sun. So, he is described as the bearer of water in the 3rd. The Dvayu Loka, or the heavenly world, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Bhumi, the 5 elements which compose the body, have their presiding deities. The Karma Indriyas, or the organs of physical action like speech, and Jnana Indriyas, the organs of perception like the eye, also have their deities which reside in them and promote their functions. The mind and the intellect too have their deities. Each of these deities assume that they are the pillars which support the being and prevent the structure of the body from falling as under. Like the earth, which is made up of the grossification of the 5 elements, or the Panchikrata, that is 1/2 of the aspect of earth and 1/8 aspect of each of the other 4 elements. The body, which is derived from the earth, is also a complex caused by the combination of the 5 elements. The Jnana Indriyas are the instruments that are effects of this combination. So, the body is a bundle of effects and causes, that is Karya, Karana, Sangatam. Like the spokes of the wheel, everything is fixed in the hub of prana. So too, the arches, the Yajurvedic mantras, the Samavedic mantras, the yajanas, where they are employed, the shastras, which protect the people from danger, the Brahmanic force, consecrating the yajanas, all these are of the nature of prana. When Prajapati becomes the cloud and pours rain, all beings rejoice and are enabled to live. All things that contribute to happiness are bound to you. Cherish us therefore as the mother. You cause all wealth and welfare related to spiritual and physical protection. Give us that wealth and that wisdom. The Rig, Yajus and Sama mantras are the Brahmanic wealth. Riches are the Kshatriya wealth. Thus, the Upanishad elaborates on the prana as Bhokta or experiencer and Prajapati. Thereafter, Pipalada takes up the question of Bhargava and later Kaushalya, son of Ashvala, asks him about prana. Then Pipalada says, "My dear boy, like the shadow caused by a person, the prana which is superior is produced by the Atma. The prana which is compared to a shadow of Atma dedicates itself to the Atma through the sankalpa or resolve of the mantras or mind. Like a ruler who appoints employees for the governance of villages under his jurisdiction, the chief prana appoints different pranas, assigning functions and areas of work for each. The Mukhya prana or the chief prana has Aditya and other gods as its impelling force. Like sparks leaping out of the flames of a raging fire, beings emanate from the imperishable Paramatma and also merge in the self-same fire. This is mentioned in the Mundaka 211 mantra. Then Pipalada answered, Gargya, one who belongs to Garga Gotra, referring Saurya Yani. Thus, the rays of the setting sun are withdrawn into the sun itself and become one with the sun. They emanate and spread again when the sun rises the next day. In the same manner, during dream, the sensory world gets merged in the consciousness reflecting mind, and when one wakes from sleep, the sensory impressions emanate as of old and move out in their native form. That is why the Jiva or Purusha cannot hear or see or touch or walk or talk or enjoy in dream. During the dream stage, the Atma, which is but the pure effulgence, does, sees, hears and experiences as vasanas whatever it does, sees, hears and experiences during the waking stage. When the statement is made that the Atma is the base of everything, the impression is created that everything is different from it, but the distinction that is apparent between the base of all, that is Paramatma, and the Jivas that rest upon, it is merely an illusion caused by the Upadhis or manifesting mediums of physical bodies, but is not the reality. Pipalada also said that whatever loka is connoted by the Brahman worship through Omkara, that loka will be attained. Next, Sukesha, the son of Bharadwaja, questioned the master, and his answer ran thus: Dear one, the Purusha you inquire about is in this body itself as the resident of the inner space, Hiridaya Akasha, the heart. His being in the body is the source of the Sudasha Kalalu or 16 kalas or paths, Prana, Shraddha, Kham, Vayu, Jyoti, Apaha, Prithvi, Indriyam, Mana, Annam, Viryam, Tapa, Mantra, Karma, Loka, Nama. They emanate from him and merge in him like milestones, progressively increasing and interdependent. The earth, herbs, medicinal plants, food and individual being Purusha, all four principles originate one from the other according to the second section of the Taittiriya. The origin of herbs, food and Purusha might not be discussed here, but since the origin of the Purusha's Savayavas, components of Purusha like Gyan Indriyas and the Karma Indriyas has been described already, the origin of the Purusha is as good as said. All rivers join the sea and lose their names and forms. The rivers are thereafter called the sea. So too, only the Purusha remains. He is not with any of the kalas or paths. He is imperishable, endless. That is all I know about Brahman, and that is all there is to know, said Pipalada to Kabandhi and other 5 disciples. This Upanishad ends with the respectful homage paid by the 6 disciples to their master. Pipalada, the biological father, gives but the body. Pipalada gave them the Brahma Sharira by teaching them the Atma Tattvam. The 6 sages, Kabandhi, Vedarbhi, Kaushalya, Sauryayani, Satyakama and Sukesha, who were Apara Brahma Nishtas, those who are firmly established in the knowledge of Brahman, asked Pipalada 6 questions in all in their quest to know Para Brahman, the Para and Apara mentioned in the first Khanda section of Mundaka Upanishad, and their nature and how Brahman caused the Jagat are also indicated. In the second Khanda, though karma related to the objective world is extolled, later in the same section, it is declared to be of evanescent value. In the 6th question, the practice of the Omkara as the core of all points of merger of all methods of gaining the Para and the Apara is fully elaborated. The 6 questions and the answers explained sequentially, one after the other, in this Upanishad bring out the implications of the Mundaka and serve as a nice commentary on that succinct text. The 6 questions are: how? Number 1, how do Para Brahman and Apara Brahman relate to one another? Number 2, who protects and guards created beings? 3, how does Hiranyagarbha emerge from Para Brahman? 4, how does creation take place from Para Brahman? 5, how does the prana, which is eminent with the Chaitanya or pure consciousness, enter the body and get diverted into 5 channels? Number 6, which are the senses that operate in the 3 stages: the waking, dreaming and deep sleep? These are the lines of inquiry that are followed in this Upanishad. Jai Sai Ram.
Saishwaraya vidmahe satyadevaya dhimahi tanna sarva prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya vidmahe satyadevaya dhimahi tanna sarva prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya vidmahe satyadevaya dhimahi tanna sarva prachodayat. Om